Welcome to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman. This week on AllTalkRadio.net, we're back in Baltimore, Maryland to finish our report on the set, Unsolved Mysteries, the life and death of Dr. Frank Olson. When last we were together, we were getting ready to shoot the dead body scene in front of the Belvedere condominiums in Baltimore. Let's head back there now. Here we go.
And action.
Some of the extras looking straight up in the air, pointing at the window. There was a camera on a dolly on the track. We're looking right at the body and the dolly on the tracks is right in front of us, moving left to right and back. So we're right behind the camera right now.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go.
Bob Wise is behind the camera now.
Please.
Roll sound. Terry Troop, the wardrobe lady, supervisor, is very involved in the look, of course, the blood. Again, standing outside the Hotel Belvedere, we are with Officer Edward Jones of the Baltimore City Police Department. Good evening or good morning, Officer Jones. How's it going here?
Pretty good so far. No problems at all.
Yeah, a little quiet. Is it a little boring for you?
No, not at all. It's really interesting watching them do the filming here. It's pretty interesting. I've never seen it before, so I was kind of excited coming out here tonight.
You have your family out here.
Yes, I do. My wife brought the children and some of their friends out here to see this tonight. And it's not often we get to see a TV show being filmed here in Baltimore, so we took advantage of it.
This could be going on until 6 o'clock in the morning. Is your family going to hang in there until 6?
Well, I don't know. The kids are getting cold and they're starting to get tired now, so my wife might take them home in a little while. But they seem to be getting a real kick out of it. And it's great. They learned something in the process.
A family outing, as it were. I guess you'll be here for another hour or so, and then the folks will give up and go. But you're here for the night, right?
Pretty much. If they need me here, then I'll stay. And if not, they'll probably let me go home. So it all depends on how busy it gets around here with the pedestrian traffic.
It's kind of nice to be looking at a crime scene without having to do anything about it.
Yes, it really is. I mean, I've been with the department 7 years, and I've seen quite a bit in 7 years. So to see something like this is kind of refreshing. You know, it's not real, and you know it's make-believe, because when you're doing it for real and when you see it for real, it really changes you. It does something to you.
Right. Well, I'm out of New York, and it's really clean over here. I always look for the streets, and I know you have problems here in Baltimore, as we do all over, but you have a swell town. I haven't been to Baltimore in a long time, so I'm enjoying it, and I thank you very much, Officer Edward Jones, the Baltimore City Police Department.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming out here. If you get a chance to see Camden Yards, or you get a chance to see the Inner Harbor, you should go down there and see it. It's beautiful.
I'll be touring Camden Yards tomorrow, as a matter of fact, Monday, August 8th. I'll be doing a tour of Camden Yards and bring that home to New York.
Your listeners will really enjoy your description of Camden Yards. It's a beautiful facility. I think it's the best ballpark in the United States. I've been there. I've taken my kids there, and it's the first place I've ever gotten up in the middle of a ball game and just walked around to take a look at it, and just to see what it was like, and to go tour it while the ball game was going on. Your listeners will get a real charge out of it. It's a fantastic facility.
Okay. Thank you, Officer Jones.
You're welcome.
We're with Terry Troop again, the wardrobe. What do we call you? What is your title?
I'm the
wardrobe director. We're looking at a very, the last time I checked, I was speaking with the Police Officer Jones just now. When I looked up again, I noticed that the actor playing Frank Olson is no longer on the ground, on the sidewalk. He is now on, describe what he's on.
Because the camera is shooting the hotel manager and the bellman running up to the actor, the camera is now on the ground below the actor. The actor's elevated on a board. He's still in his underwear, but we have a sound blanket under him on a board raised in the air with a raincoat draped across his body to keep him warm. The cameraman does not see him. All we see is the face of the hotel manager coming in over him.
Well, we've seen Frank Olson. I'm calling him Frank Olson. We've seen the victim. We're not seeing the victim at all.
We're not seeing the victim at all. I'm not quite sure why they even have to have him there, except that he's probably there to help the hotel manager.
Somebody to look at. Okay, so, and he's set up on some boards right now, some 2x4s on top of some crates.
Right. He's what we call apple boxes, which is a term that the grips use for their equipment. These are nest of boxes that are on all sets, and they have a full apple, a quarter apple, a half apple. They're just boxes with holes in the end that you can carry. They're hollow.
Right.
They use them to build platforms to sit on, to build stands, that sort of thing.
And to do this, and to put the victims on top.
When the actor was lying on the ground, they had wet down the street to make the reflections more, pick up the broken glass for the cameraman. But unfortunately for the actor, it's very cold and wet lying on hard pavement. Actually, it's sort of a cobblestone kind of sidewalk, so it really hurts him to lie flat on it. And it was wet and cold, and he was shaking. He's supposed to look dead, and if you saw him up close, he was just vibrating.
There is a bit of a nip in the air, so...
So whenever I can between takes, I try to get a blanket or a coat over him without irritating the cameraman or the director.
Okay, and there's blood coming from his mouth. It seems to me, now I understand the photographs taking of the actual scene, that's how he's been, how the photographs looked of Dr. Olson, that's how you're shooting him here. But it seems to me there'd be a lot more damage done to the body than it shows here.
Well, they've obviously looked at photographs of the real corpse, and they've matched him probably, I mean, because the placement of the limbs were very exacting when he was lying on the cement. They told me that there really was no blood from the actual body. We've added blood, so I'm not sure if this was in truth the way, if he had blood, he certainly would have had blood cuts from going through the glass window. And I think it would be normal for blood to be coming from his nose and out of his mouth from a fall that hard.
Interestingly, we're looking at, I don't know who the gentleman is with Eric Olson, with the son of Frank Olson, kind of watching from the across the street a little bit. It must be a little odd for him to be watching this.
Apparently that's Eric Olson's best friend, and they've been discussing this for years. They said between themselves what probably happened, what may have happened, what they've had their doubts for a long time, and they said he was glad that his friend could be here tonight because it's been something they've talked about for years together.
Right. Okay, so that's the scene. Am I taking you away? I know you've been running in and out of this scene all evening, daubing blood on and fixing the blanket and the raincoat. So I guess I'll let you go. Thank you for the insight, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. We're with Eric Olson, the son of Frank Olson, who is being portrayed in this segment. Dr. Olson, Eric, what are your emotions watching this?
It's not easy to summarize them, really. It's, when I met the actor who was playing my father, I was really struck at how similar he really does look to my father, and you can even see that in some of the photographs. And he and I spoke for a while, and it was obvious that he'd been really captivated by this story and had a deep kind of emotional response himself to it, and was pretty taken by meeting me as well. And then to see this unfolding here on the sidewalk where the scene of my father's death is being portrayed, it's really unsettling.
You two, you kind of remind me of the actor a little bit. You are kind of similar in appearance.
Yeah.
What are we listening to here?
I guess if A and C both look like B, then A and C are going to look like each other, kind of. So because, I mean, I resemble my father, and he does too.
But then he looks like you a little bit. I'm a little confused at who's the older of the two, who looks like who.
Yeah.
So here you are looking at a scene that you were 9 years old when it happened, and you have no, first-hand recollection. So here you are looking at a simulation of it. It must be a little unsettling. You're with a friend of yours and kind of looking on. I'm sure your friend knows about it, and you invited him out here to
Well, he's
watch.
a friend that I've known for many years, and we've discussed this story ever since the mid-'70s, trying to make sense out of it. So I'm glad that he lives in Baltimore and could come over and join me for this. But the other unsettling thing is that I just went through this on the very place in 7th Avenue where my father actually died, because a forensic team was up there trying to recreate this in order to take some measurements and so on. So we recreated the scene at lunchtime, actually, in New York. A crowd gathered and so on, as if there had been a crime that had just occurred, and here we are doing it in a kind of cinematic version. So this is within the space of a couple weeks, 2 different separate recreations of my father's death.
This is quite a year for you.
It's quite a summer, actually. This has all happened since June the 2nd, when we exhumed my father's body. And this is, as we discussed earlier, this is 19 years after 75, when all this about the LSD came out in the press, and that was a big summer. But this is actually a more intense one and more personal.
Do you intend to stick around till 6 in the morning? You seem mesmerized by this. Do you intend to stick around till the end of this?
I don't intend to, and I don't want to, but I think you're right to use the word mesmerize. It's not easy to pull yourself away, even though in a sense everything goes so slowly here, and they do these takes, and it takes a long time in between them, and it's in a certain sense boring, but yet it's hard to walk away and get in the car and drive off. So I don't really know. Consciously, I kind of think I'm going to leave very soon, but we'll have to see if I do.
It's almost like at the end of this scene, maybe that'll resolve something. Eric, thanks again for your time, and we're just going to hang in there and for the shoot, finish up the shoot.
How long are you going to stay here?
I'm right here till the end of the shoot today.
You're going to stay all night?
Oh yeah. Well, I head from here to Camden Yards to do a piece, and then I go back to New York. And okay, again, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Herb.
Right now, we're waiting. We're still shooting, of course, downstairs. The scene, the dead body scene, as it's called. And across the street, Officer Edward Jones is in the midst of making an arrest on a disorderly conduct. I think you can hear that off in the background someplace. It is about 2:15. I don't have my watch with me, but I'd say it's somewhere around 2:15 in the morning right now. They're getting ready to take another shot. Eric Olson has moved very close to the piece right now. He stepped back a bit. He's still working on the piece with the hotel manager and the doorman. The sound you hear right now is a truck pulling up into the street, hired, I guess, by the production company. It's a Baltimore City vehicle, Department of Public Works, Bureau of Solid Waste, and it's backing up into the street now, just about in line with where the body would be laying on the sidewalk, but of course it's in the middle of the street. I do not know what this truck is doing here. We'll find out. Again, it is in front of the hotel and off to the right of the entrance. The driver is opening up the back, and we're going to find out just what this truck is doing here. It has been hired, obviously, by the company. What will it disperse? The scene, by the way, remains the same across the street. You can see the water and the simulated pane glass take. You can see the water and the simulated pieces of glass from the window. There you go. We shall know in just a moment just what this truck is doing here. I do believe it may be getting ready to spray the street. There is water coming out from underneath. I do believe instead of using a hose, there comes the water. They are watering down the street. It is a foamy water. They're going to give the street a glisten. They're going to let it glisten a bit. A little winter, a little sheen on the street, as it were. Okay, it's spraying. There's a bit of a foam to it. It is dousing the street. So this is what's involved in the production of when you see it, you're only seeing about 10, maybe 11 minutes, maybe 12 minutes of this. But right now, we've been here since 6 o'clock this evening. They've been here for the weekend. We're, I guess, around 2, 3, maybe 3.5 hours to being finished. And when you see this, it's only going to be a matter of moments, actually. And the street looks so wet, nice and clean. The streets here are clean anyway, by the way, folks. Comparatively clean, if you're from New York City. He is backing up. He's gotten the sidewalk too. He's wet down the sidewalk. There is a nice glow to the street right now. I kind of suspected that's what was happening over here. Rather than hosing down, they just hired a truck to come out and do it. So instant winter here on August 7th, or August 8th now, 1994. They're laying down a pretty good sheet, folks. I do believe it's probably going to hit the sidewalk as well, or it should. Yeah, they're getting the sidewalk now. This is the magic of television, folks. As it turns out, this truck to douse the street was supposed to be here a while ago, and it's a little bit late. It was late getting here, so that's why they were hosing down the streets. So the original idea was to have this truck come out, but it was running late, so he's here now, and that's how the truck came to be here at Charles Street at Chase. Okay, what we're looking at right now is the scene being shot, the hotel manager running out, along with the doorman and the bystanders, the passers-by, looking down at the body, but the body is not there. So, and again, they're shooting from across the street, and we're just looking at the scene all over again, but without the body of Dr. Frank Olson. So that's what's being shot right now. It's about 2:30 in the morning. It's a little chilly. People putting on coats. The people looking on. The numbers have dwindled a bit, and people are bundling up a bit. Interestingly, Eric Olson and the actor that is playing his father, they've been sitting together watching this from across the street and just. I guess just taking notes and discussing the shooting. So it's rather unusual to see the two of them sitting together, comparing notes and getting to know one another. Father and son, I guess, in this case. Okay, the voice we're about to hear is Bob Wise. They're doing the same shot, the hotel manager looking over the body, over the victim, Dr. Olson, trying to hear what he's saying as he's expiring.
I think we're all right.
A little insight into this program. Now, I'm going to tape here about 3 or 4 hours, but you're only going to hear an hour or so, an hour and a half of it. Same thing here. They've been filming for days and days, shooting from every angle, but you're only going to see 12, 13, maybe 17 minutes of it. So they're going to take the best of it, they're going to cull the best of it and put it on the air, as it happens with this series. So No outtakes here, folks. Let's try to pick up the direction.
Don't forget to move around a little bit. No, don't be running.
Make sure that foam core is blocking the window. Is it setting there properly so it covers up that hole in the window, the rest of the window that's not taken up by the fog machine? Yes, it is on the list, yeah. Okay, because it looks like there's fog coming out, but it's not coming up out of the grate. We have plenty down here.
I don't know who's speaking. It is not Bob Wise.
So you see him saying and blowing out?
It may be coming from the truck.
You know, far away from here in a minute. Lena had one unless she still doesn't know. Apparently it's still up in the fifth floor.
Okay, it's not from the truck. It's a gentleman working the dolly, the camera operator. The dolly operator on the camera. The steam is coming up. The street has been doused and lit. And let's tune in now.
Yeah, Jeannie O'Brien, are you on a walking?
Yeah.
Is the room upstairs still on?
We've got to do it.
Okay, we're going to need somebody to go up and find the fan that we got after we... Looks like Amy is on her way up. I don't know if she knows it. She can't get in when she gets there.
Terry Troop, the stylist, is a very busy person. She's looking over the body now, wrapping the body, positioning the body, styling the body, I guess.
Okay, clear the doorway there. We don't want to see you guys through the door.
They're asking the doorway to be cleared now. We're about to have a take here. Plenty of coffee is being consumed. By the way, it's about 3 in the morning right now, and breakfast is being set up in the palm room of the Belvedere. So this is a dinner and breakfast flight.
We are rolling. We're rolling.
Action is called. The camera just passed us on the dolly. Going to our right, left to right. The hotel manager looking over the body, trying to hear Dr. Olson, leaning over. Head down.
Shut.
One more time, please.
One more time, please. They'll go back to the positions. The hotel manager back into the hotel along with the doorman. We have one extra coming across the street. He's standing right to our left. Now the dolly is moving on a track, and I would put the track at about 10 yards, maybe 12 yards, running right past us. Right now he's on our right, about 10 feet, 8 feet to our right. He's rolling right past us, right in front of us now. Here goes the camera.
I'm on his own right after 6 minutes.
Again, it's pushed and pulled by a human. Jim, or Dr. Olson, Jim Scadlin, is covered with blankets, so I am not certain that he is in this shot. I'm sure he is, but he's covered with blankets. That may be part of the scene to cover him, to keep him warm, because remember, this is a winter night. Plenty of coffee, by the way, speaking of winter nights, plenty of coffee is being consumed here. People bundling up. The police have their windbreakers on. Although it isn't that chilly, I guess everybody here is from the West Coast, I guess, because it's very comfortable. This is supposedly the dog test.
I've got the thing going now, can you tell? No.
Okay, question answered. The blankets, shipping blankets have been taken off Jim now, a.k.a. Frank Olson. So he's out there again on the cold pavement, and it is, again, a little chilly. Action. Doorman out first. Hotel manager out next. Here comes the camera. To our right.
Basically past story shadow. Doesn't really shadow when you covered up. What?
You have 11 passes by the hotel manager and doorman and bellhop. That's the scene we're looking at. And of course, Frank Olson. What's interesting is watching Bob Wise work, shot after shot, take after take after take after take, and after each take he says, I like that, that's great, that's good, I liked it, that's fine. Okay, let's try this. Okay, let's do it this way. When you think he's got it done, we're going to do it again. So obviously they're going to take the best shot they find. That's great, that's good. He inspires them and works for them and drives them forward. And we're about to have still another take.
How's that? Good, except if we could get a little light. Well, I mean, he's covered up. I mean, that's not the issue. If we can keep the path between our story and the light open so that we so past story gets from that one.
Just a thought here. Jim Scanlon, the actor portraying Frank Olson, standing up in the psychiatrist's office, the agitation, the emotion, the motivation, and the anger, and building and building and building, and then another take and another take. Tough scene. This scene, he says nothing. He's laying down. He's bleeding. He has no dialogue basically, and this is a far tougher scene. This is very uncomfortable for the actor right now. This is a very uncomfortable position he's in. It's the hard ground. When the take is finished, when they're finished doing a take, Terry Troop, the stylist, rushes over and wraps him in a packing blanket again to keep him comfortable. He's on this hard ground, and it's not a very comfortable position. And he's been in this position for about 2 hours right now. And here we go again. The blankets come off. Terry runs across the street, across Chase Street. And action. The doorman out the revolving door, hotel manager behind him. Here comes the camera.
One more time. Okay, one more time. Right again, Rich. Right again. Very quickly.
Okay, they're running back now. This is going to be quick again. Everybody back, camera moving back to the left on the track. Roll sound. The voice you hear is Bob Wise. People rushing around. The camera on the dolly once again is to our far left. Mark? That's the clapboard, the clapper. The slate. The doorman comes rushing out, the hotel manager. Rushing, here comes the camera again. And so it goes. The crowd gathers, and the hotel manager leans over, looks down.
Good.
Good.
Check it. What? Check it. One more time.
7 years, so to see something like this is kind of refreshing. You know, it's not real, and you know it's make-believe, because when you're doing it for real and when you see it for real, it really changes you. It does something to you.
Right. Well, I'm out of New York, and it's really clean over here. I always look for the streets, and I know you have problems here in Baltimore, as we do all over, but you have a swell town. I haven't been to Baltimore in a long time, so I'm enjoying it, and I thank you very much, Officer Edward Jones, the Baltimore City Police Department.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming out here. If you get a chance to see Camden Yards, or you get a chance to see the Inner Harbor, you should go down there and see it. It's beautiful.
I'll be touring Camden Yards tomorrow, as a matter of fact, Monday, August 8th. I'll be doing a tour of Camden Yards and bring that home to New York.
Your listeners will really enjoy your description of Camden Yards. It's a beautiful facility. I think it's the best ballpark in the United States. I've been there. I've taken my kids there, and it's the first place I've ever gotten up in the middle of a ball game and just walked around to take a look at it, and just to see what it was like, and to go tour it while the ball game was going on. Your listeners will get a real charge out of it. It's a fantastic facility.
Okay. Thank you, Officer Jones.
You're welcome.
We're with Terry Troop again, the wardrobe. What do we call you? What is your title?
I'm the
Wardrobe director. We're looking at a very, the last time I checked, I was speaking with Police Officer Jones just now. When I looked up again, I noticed that the actor playing Frank Olson is no longer on the ground, on the sidewalk. Welcome to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman. This week on AllTalkRadio.net, we're back in Baltimore, Maryland to finish our report on the set, Unsolved Mysteries, the life and death of Dr. Frank Olson. When last we were together, we were getting ready to shoot the dead body scene in front of the Belvedere condominiums in Baltimore. Let's head back there now. Here we go.
And action.
Some of the extras looking straight up in the air, pointing at the window. There was a camera on a dolly on the track. So we're looking right at the body, and
I need more animation.
the dolly on the tracks is right in front of us, moving left to right and back. So we're right behind the camera right now.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, here we go.
Bob Wise is behind the camera now.
Please.
Roll sound.
Want the pink light for this?
Terry Troop, the wardrobe lady, supervisor, is very involved in the look, of course, the blood. Again, standing outside the Hotel Belvedere, we are with Officer Edward Jones of the Baltimore City Police Department. Good evening or good morning, Officer Jones. How's it going here?
It's pretty good so far. No problems at all.
Yeah, a little quiet. Is it a little boring for you?
No, not at all. It's really interesting watching them do the filming here. It's pretty interesting. I've never seen it before, so I was kind of excited coming out here tonight.
You have your family out here.
Yes, I do. My wife brought the children and some of their friends out here to see this tonight. And it's not often we get to see a TV show being filmed here in Baltimore, so we took advantage of it.
This could be going on till 6 o'clock in the morning. Is your family going to hang in there until 6?
Well, I don't know. The kids are getting cold and they're starting to get tired now, so my wife might take them home in a little while. But they seem to be getting a real kick out of it. And it's great. They learn something in the process.
A family outing, as it were. Guess you'll be here for another hour or so, and then the folks will give up and go. But you're here for the night, right?
Pretty much, if they need me here, then I'll stay, and if not, they'll probably let me go home. So it all depends on how busy it gets around here with the pedestrian traffic.
It's kind of nice to be looking at a crime scene without having to do anything about it.
Yes, it really is. I mean, I've been with the department 7 years, and I've seen quite a bit in